I told you yesterday I moved them all the way up to 13th in the top 25 and won. And after they went out and beat Michigan State convincingly on Tuesday afternoon, final score 71, Michigan State 63. The Tigers are 6-0. I kept them at 13th in the country, and now they play Auburn later today with an opportunity to add a trophy to the trophy case, a Maui Invitational trophy to be exact. Big Bet Bennett, do you have Tiger fever? Tyrese Hunter continues to look excellent. That backcourt might be one of the best in the country.
Buddy, I have a Tiger illness. I am fired up. That was awesome. I mean, dude, it sets up so like Penny Hardaway just beat two of the best coaches in college basketball, maybe in the history of the game, to get to this time.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
There are only 6 people in Division I college basketball who have won national championships. Only 6 active coaches who have won national championships are still coaching in this moment in the sport of college basketball. And Penny Hardaway has spent the past couple of days smacking 2 of them around.
Yeah, no, it's been super impressive. The backcourt is awesome. Yesterday was great. Like, it was kind of, we were sitting there before the game started thinking, damn, man, because UConn had just lost, and it's like, oh, God, like, that's still a massive win regardless, but then if you lose to Michigan State, like, it kind of takes a little bit out of it just because, you lose a little bit from the big UConn win. Didn't matter. They handled business, and the backcourt looks awesome. Tyrese Hunter's amazing. The vibes are great.
Vibes are great. I do think UConn backing its loss to Memphis with another loss to Colorado does take a little bit out of that. I mean, just by definition takes a little bit out of that win. Now you're not the only team that has beaten the back-to-back champs. Colorado, unranked Colorado, sub 70 at KenPom, Colorado has done the same thing. But I'm with you. Like, it takes something away from it, but it doesn't make me think that Memphis is fraudulent in that
right.
They're suddenly not as good as I thought they were 2 days ago, because they backed it with not just a win over Michigan State, but a impressive win over Michigan State. Like, they pulled away in the second half. They controlled those final 20 minutes. They win at 71-63. They didn't shoot it quite as well from 3 against the Spartans as they had previously shot it, but they are still shooting 45.4% from 3 on the season. That ranks 3rd in the country. They're top 25 in adjusted offensive efficiency, according to KenPom, top 40 in adjusted defensive efficiency. I mean, we're just talking about a rock-solid team. Again, one that's shooting 58.6%. That's their effective field goal percentage. That ranks top 40 in the country. So we could debate whether they're really top 15 or top 25 or where should you have them, but they are showing themselves to be a quality basketball team, a team I believe is worthy of being ranked when the AP poll updates on Monday, regardless of what happens today against Auburn. They look big, they look strong, they look competent. Penny's doing it, and I don't have much to add from what I said yesterday. Like, I'm happy for him to be enjoying this success. It has not been the easiest 6-year run for him. It has not been the easiest off season for him. He lost, by his own doing, a bulk of his staff just before the start of the season. Lost a player he was on some level relying on, that the collective had spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on. Lost that player. He quit the team, Tyreek Smith, on opening day of this season. Like, there's a lot of chaos and a lot of adversity, and they're handling it beautifully so far. And, we'll see where it is a month from now or 2 months from now. I don't have to remind you or anybody else that Memphis was ranked 10th in the AP poll last January, and then lost, 8 of their next 15 games to close the season and missed the NCAA tournament. So I don't guess we should be counting any chickens quite yet. But they look the part. They are 6-0. On one hand, you can argue it. They're 6-0 with 5 wins over top 100 KenPom teams, including a neutral court victory over the back-to-back champs. That sounds great. On the other hand, it is also 6-0 against 6 teams that probably will not be ranked, none of them, come Monday when the AP poll update. So you can slice it up a few different ways. If I'm a Memphis fan, and I am, I'm choosing to look at the positive. The 6-0 just got a win over Dan Hurley, national championship coach, backed it with a win over Tom Izzo, national championship coach, and now you get an opportunity to take a shot at an Auburn team that is currently ranked number 1 at KenPom. Kansas is number 1 in the human polls, but Auburn is number 1 at KenPom right now. That is why Memphis is a pretty sizable underdog against the Tigers. The latest number I saw was Auburn minus 9.5. But either way, like, no matter what happens, Memphis has launched itself into the national conversation with what it has done to start the season. Even if you lose today, I think the Tigers will be ranked in the top 25 of the AP poll come Monday. I'm just telling you, unless they get completely blown out, I'll probably keep them right where they are if they lose today. And where they are in the top 25 and 1 right now is 13th. But if they win, they got a shot to go from unranked in the AP poll all the way into the top 5. We'll talk other college basketball stuff later, but just in the context of this story, Kansas did beat Duke last night in Las Vegas. So Kansas just has a bye game this weekend at Fog Allen. They'll be favored by about 20 points. Assuming they win that, Kansas is going to remain number 1 in the AP poll come Monday. Gonzaga, if it wins the battle for Atlantis, will probably be number 2 in the AP poll when it updates on Monday. But if Memphis were to beat Auburn, which is 4th in the AP poll right now, number 1 at KenPom, I think you could make a very reasonable case that Memphis could go all the way from unranked to as high as number 3 in the country. And if Kansas or Gonzaga were to lose, as high as number 2 in the country. And if Kansas and Gonzaga were to both lose, as high as number 1 in the country. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, but just a big opportunity on a massive stage. That Maui Invitational tournament, like the winner of that registers. You know, there's a lot of multi-team events happening all over the country. They're not all relevant. They don't all force people to pay attention to you. But if you go win 3 games in Maui, historically, it's a great sign. And B, it forces people to recognize you and forces people to understand that you're off to one of the best starts in the country. By definition, almost, you cannot win this event and not also be off to one of the best starts in the country. So it's all great stuff for Penny Hardaway's Tigers. Again, 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Central today on ESPN. Memphis, Auburn, title game, Maui Invitational.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m.